Hello everybody, how you doing today? It is a new day, it's a fresh day. I hope you're up, shaking and baking. This is the first guest that I've had for the second time on the podcast. Do you know that, Addie?
Wow, I didn't know.
Yes, yes. I have not had a repeat guest yet.
Wow, I
You are
feel
the
special.
first repeat guest on the podcast. We have done 149 episodes, and I'm happy
Wow,
that this repeat episode is going to be the 150th episode of the Paul Ford podcast.
wow. I love it.
Yes, so I'm really excited about that. And the first episode you did so well that Spotify told me that it was the most streamed and distributed episode of mine. Even no
Wow.
episode I've still been able to top that. So
Yes, to be very honest, to this day, people still message me like, "Oh, I heard about you from Paul Foles podcast," and I'm just like, "Wow."
all right, so welcome back to the podcast, Addie Kasali. How you
Thank
doing?
you. I'm good. How are you?
Very, very. How's business? How's life?
Business is good. Life is good.
Yeah, so I wanted you to come back to the podcast again because when I heard you talking about China, I saw your trips to China. I got intrigued. I got interested. China has how many billion people? Like 3 billion people. I don't know how many people are in
Yes,
China now.
yes,
That's a
it's too many.
very, very important country to the
Yes, it
continent of
is.
Africa, to the United
Yes,
States, to all over the world.
yes.
So I know that you do a lot of business there. So I want this conversation to be centered around how people can do fashion accessories business.
Okay.
Yes, around that because I think it's a multi-billion-dollar industry,
Yes,
and I don't think a lot
yes,
of people are taking it seriously. Yeah,
yes,
yet.
yes,
And with the internet and with distribution, I think anybody can actually start that business, even if they don't leave
yes,
their 9 to 5 jobs. Right?
yes.
Great.
I still have my 9 to 5.
Fantastic. Got
Yes.
it? Yeah, I mean, you are a testament to the fact that your 9 to 5 is not an excuse for you to create
No,
wealth.
it's not. It's not at all.
So why did you decide to source from China and not Turkey and not Dubai and not some country from the Middle East? Why?
Well, I've been going to China since 2018. I remember from my last podcast, I
Yeah.
told you about how the Holy Spirit had instructed me to go to China.
Yeah.
So China is like number one in the world for so many things, especially fashion, fabrics, fashion accessories. China is the place to go. So when I decided to embark on my jewelry business journey, it was a no-brainer that I was going to go to China, especially with China being king when it comes to fashion accessories. No other country in the world tops China when it comes to fashion accessories.
Wow. Wow. So are you
Yes.
telling me that most of these fashion accessories that we're seeing from all these big brands, their manufacturing base is in China? Because even Apple, they
Yes.
manufacture the iPhone in China.
Yes, many people won't know because the thing about China is that many people think that when you think China, it's cheap, but that's not true. China is based off of the money you have.
Come
If
on,
you
girl.
want cheap, if you want cheap, they'll give you cheap. If you want expensive, you'll get expensive. So a lot of the big brands, they've invested in expensive, and that's what they push out to the public. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So this common narrative of saying, "Oh, China equals cheap" is not
Yes.
true.
It is not true in any way.
Mm,
Yes. I used to have that narrative. That's why I decided to go in 2018. And when I went there, I was in awe. Everything comes from China. Everything. Everything.
really, it's a manufacturing base of the whole wide world. Really, China
Yes.
is the
Yes.
manufacturing base of the world.
Yes,
Very,
because
very interesting.
they give you the best prices, so that it would just make sense as a business owner to get your products manufactured in China. They have the labor, they have everything. They have the technology. Okay, so that's not true. Anybody can visit China. It's open for all. I think where a lot of people get confused is, getting a business visa to China is a little bit harder. But I suggest when you want to visit China, get a tourist visa. And that process is very simple. Although, yes, it does vary by country, but there are certain requirements that all countries, there are certain requirements that all countries must meet. For example, you have to have a valid passport for at least 6 months. You have to um, have your hotel itinerary. You have to have your flight booked. And to be honest, these days, even with the hotel, you can just book a hotel and pay later. So you don't even have to have a paid hotel. But they do require like your ticket, to show that you're going to China. Now,
Yeah.
I know in certain countries, even for a visiting visa, sometimes they ask for like a letter, of invitation. However, people can bypass that because China has this huge fair. It's an international fair called the Canton Fair that happens twice a year. And if you sign up on like their email list, they have a call for visas like, oh, do you need a visa to China? And you can use the Canton Fair, as a gateway, to surpass or bypass that letter of invitation. So there are ways around it.
That's interesting.
But
What was
yes,
what was some of the things that made you go like, wow, when you first got into China?
well, I think number one, the production, the quantity of items. Like, back then I initially went for fabrics in 2018, and I was just in wow when I went to the Guangzhou, the fabric market. It's called Gongda Fabric Market. Is one of the biggest fabric markets in the world. It's like this. It looks like a city.
Just
It's not
fabrics.
just fabrics and fabrics and
Wow.
all types of fabrics. And the same effect happened when I went to Yiwu, which is one of the best places, in my opinion, to get, anything fashion accessories. It's called Yiwu International Trade City. They're known for like small commodities and accessories. And when I went to the building, I was just in wow. I mean, all types of fashion accessories, and like the quantity is outrageous. And then I think another thing that wowed me is because, remember, I used to think China was cheap. But
Yeah.
when I got there, I saw beautiful things, quality things. And I'm just like, wow, this place is just a really hidden gem. Yeah,
That's interesting. Very, very,
yeah.
very, very interesting. Now, some people may be saying, no, first let me introduce the question I want to ask next with some sort of phrase or quote. Somebody once said to
Okay.
me that you don't have all the time to live all the lives you want to live. You can actually
Yes,
buy somebody else's experience
yes,
and shortcut your mistakes.
yes,
Now, you've been going to China now for like 5 years, right? Correct me if
yes,
I'm
over
wrong.
5 years. Yes.
Great. And I'm sure you've seen some distinctions. You've made your fair share of mistakes,
Yes, I
and you've
have.
learned a lot in the process.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that you have put together some sort of protocol, some sort of guide, some sort of book for
Yes.
anybody who wants to do business in China. Because what we're saying that the
Yes.
opportunities in China are massive for you to ignore.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
too massive for you to ignore. So talk to
It's
us
too.
about that guide and how does it help the average person?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm coming out with a guide. It's called the China Fashion Accessories Market Guide. And it's a guide where I basically help individuals, who either just want to start like a fashion accessories business or who want to expand their accessories business. I help them by giving out information that I have acquired over the years. Like, to be honest, anybody that wants to go to China can actually get the book because I give information on general things like how to get your visa, my hotel recommendations, the apps you need in China. Then for those who are trying to get into like the fashion accessories business, I give my recommendations on the best markets to go to. I also connect you with suppliers that I've worked with over the years, reliable suppliers. So, it's just one of those things where after when you get this guide, when it comes to your fashion accessories business, you are good to go. Like you have a blueprint. I also give you information on guides that take me around when I'm in China because in China the primary language is not English. You understand?
It's
So you need
Mandarin, right?
people. Yeah, it's Mandarin. So you need people that's going to take you around. So I give you the information for the guys that have been taking me around for the past 5 years. So it's just really like jam packed. I give a clothing manufacturer contact in there that I visited in my last trip that I just went this past August. Just so many goodies. And then, as bonuses, one of the bonuses is a one-on-one with me where you get to
Wow.
ask, where you get to ask questions. You get an hour with me to ask questions that you may have around China or maybe around your fashion accessories business or even your fashion business.
So guys, if you want that, I'm gonna put the link in the show notes to get the ebook. How much are we talking about? Is it $500? $1,000? How much is this ebook?
No, it's $197.
Whoa! With all those
Listen,
information and
yes,
experiences.
it took me the information that I put in that book, it took me over 6 years to acquire and thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. And you can get it for 197.
That's the kind of offer that Alex Omozi says that you will feel stupid for not getting.
Yes, yes.
Wow, 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 wow. Off the back of my head, though, like, do you think someone who's just starting and someone says, okay, I got you, Addie. I have a 9 to 5 job. I'm going for my summer holiday or my vacation is about this time. Like, how much are we looking at for me to pack my bag and go to China to start?
So another misconception that a lot of people have is that, to go to China or to do business in China, you just need tens of thousands of dollars.
Mm,
You
mm.
understand? And that's just not true. I honestly think that misconception is out there because the people who are doing business in China, they don't want you to do business. So they're trying to scare
I
you.
like that. I like that.
To be honest, I would say anywhere from between $4,000 to $10,000. And let me break that down. I think if you're just going to like visit,
Okay.
to just check the markets and things like that, $4,000 to $5,000 is okay. That would include your hotel, your flight ticket, your visa processing, a guide, so your food. So it's all and it includes everything. Now, excuse me, if you're
Yeah.
going to like buy goods, like if you want to buy product, then it will be closer to the 10,000
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Which cities are good for jewelry, and how do you? First of all, which are the best cities for jewelry? I know you've talked a little bit, and why?
Okay. So, in my opinion, the best cities for jewelry are Guangzhou and also Yiwu. Now, Guangzhou, that's like the hub of China business. That's where all the major suppliers are. China is huge. So,
So I hear, man.
other cities, that are far, far away, they bring everything to Guangzhou and distribute it out. You understand? So Guangzhou is like the hub, and I like Guangzhou because their jewelry is very modern, very fashionable with good prices. There's a lot of variety. So that's what Guangzhou is good for. Now, I love Yiwu. Now, when I would say that Guangzhou is better for smaller quantities, when you're
Okay.
just starting
Started
out.
out, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Yiwu is for the wholesalers. Yiwu, that's where you get things in bulk. That's where you get the best prices. They also have decent quality, and I like Yiwu also because the place you need to go to for jewelry is like in one huge building.
That's fantastic. But off the back of that, I'm saying somebody may say, okay, I mean, I see them eating with their chopsticks. Am I gonna get good food? I'm like, girl, someone said, like, girl, I'm gonna be in China for a week. Is there gonna be McDonald's there? Am I gonna get a burger? What's going on there? Am I gonna get real food? I hear they eat snakes there. Talk to me.
Oh my God.
Bust all those meats.
So I won't lie. Of course, they eat chopsticks. That's their traditional way. And of course, they do eat snake and other things. However, China is modern. You understand? They have McDonald's, they have KFC, they have even the last time I went, there was shawarma. You know, I'm
Wow.
Nigerian. Yeah, I ate shawarma. It was really good. You know, I'm a Nigerian, so there are a lot of Nigerian restaurants there because a lot of people, Africans, go there to do businesses, and not only Nigeria, other African countries have restaurants there. So you'll find something to eat.
That's good. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes, you won't starve.
Great. Go ahead, yeah.
I was gonna say, to be honest, some of the Chinese food is really good too. So you'll be fine. Yeah.
So guys, and all of this guide all of this information are going to be in the book. So you settle down and do that and stop leaving money on the table when you're supposed to book that trip right now and make that trip. I'm just thinking about something now. Can people go in groups? Can someone say, you know what?
Yeah.
I have great. So yeah, talk to us about that.
Yeah, a lot. So there are a lot of people who schedule group trips. You know, you just have to do your research, and yes, people do go in a group because it's fun. You know, you get to explore together. You have people who understand the same language as you. You know, so you know, I think that in the near future, I'm probably gonna plan a group trip as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Would you advise that for someone that says, you know what, I don't have $10,000, I've got $5,000, I can come with one of my friends that have $5,000, let's just partner together and go and split the cost?
I agree on that. And then I also think a fantastic thing to do is go to Canton Fair. That happens twice a year.
Talk to us about that fair.
So Canton Fair is an international fair where all the major manufacturers, distributors, suppliers in China for all types of products, I mean from electronics to hair to jewelry, come to Guangzhou to display their goods. So, you know, you come, you know, you get to see everything, beauty, everything. And it happens twice a year. The spring session happens April to May, and then the fall session happens October to November. And don't forget, remember I told you guys that that's a good way to get your China visa too, you know, saying that you're coming for the Canton Fair. And the Canton Fair is very organized. You know, you guys can go on their website. I don't know it off the top of my head, but register to get their emails because they do a call for visas and, oh, do you need this? They give information about transportation and stuff like that. So, yeah.
What about hotels? Because people are very finicky about things like that. Yes.
So, in my guide, I give my recommendations on the hotels I stay at. So you have to buy my guide to get that.
Get the guide, yeah.
But one thing I will tell you is that China has a variety of hotels. Now, it is China, so you do have to be careful. Okay. It is China, so you do have to be careful in terms of not going too cheap. And then, you know, you want to make sure that you read the reviews online.
Very good.
Any hotel you want
Very
to
good.
Yeah, and then another important factor is which markets do you want to visit because there's so many markets. So you want a hotel that's within that vicinity. So that's how you choose hotels. Yes.
Fantastic. So, Addie, somebody goes to China. They place the order for their fashion accessory business. The product has arrived. How do you advise them in terms of distributing that product and selling? Because they've got to sell to make more money to go back.
Yeah.
What has worked for you?
So one thing I want to mention is, so a big thing is reliability when it comes to shipping from China to the United States, United Kingdom, Canada.
Great.
So one thing that I also provide in the guide is my personal shipper who I've been working with for the last few years.
Fantastic.
That is just on point. You know,
fantastic.
He can accept, you know, different packages. He'll package it for you and then send it out. Now, when it comes to selling, I'm a big advocate of communities. Okay, so let me talk about when I started jewelry business. So I was already in fabrics business,
Yes,
and then
yes.
back then I just wanted to increase my profitability. I had a buying crowd, and I had spoken to someone back then, and they were just like, "Why don't you offer your people something else to buy?" And then I thought about it. I thought about it. I went to God in prayer and decided on jewelry, especially since I had already been going to China. So, I
Yeah.
had a community. So I'm really big on communities.
Very good.
Start putting yourself out there,
Out there.
giving educational content. If it's sunglasses you want to sell, start talking about educational content,
Very
bags,
good.
educational contact, put yourself out there, come off as the expert, so that when your product comes, people are like, oh, I can buy from her. She knows what she's saying. So number one is community. And then I also advise, I like Telegram. I think I mentioned that on the last
Yes, yes,
live. Like, I
yes.
have a
Your
Telegram
community
group.
was, yeah, yeah, group. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, I have a Telegram group, so I sell there. Then recently, a website. I'm revamping it, but also website. I think website is important. And then, once you have a website, you do Facebook ads and things of that sort to push the website. So I think that's how you can sell. And another thing that I'm trying to explore also is trade fairs. In Nigeria, lots of trade fairs are going on. Um, even outside of Nigeria now, United Kingdom, America, a lot of trade fairs. So just going out, putting your name out there, getting down to the traditional, like how we used to do things before social media. I think that's very, very important also.
That's very powerful. I mean, you brought up a point that's very important. Someone was telling me, I was interviewing a young man that makes over $100,000 a year selling his product online. And he said something very powerful. He said, with the advent of artificial intelligence, they can actually clone your voice and clone your look right now. That business is going back to how it used to be, where people will have to
Yes,
see you physically, shake your
yes,
hands before they buy
yes.
your product or your service.
I completely agree, and that's why I mentioned that trade fair piece. And I know recently, I was speaking to someone. She's actually in Chicago. She sells, she's into fashion, and she was just telling me how, what she does is she prints business cards. So every when she goes to Walmart, when she goes to Target, she's like, "Oh, here." When she sees a young lady, when she sees a young lady, she shakes her hand. "Hello, I'm into fashion. This is what I sell. Here's my card." And it has been really working for her. And I was just so intrigued because because of social media, we forget
That's right.
about offline
That's
selling.
right. That's
You
right.
know?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Very, very, very important. So, guys, go out there more, shake more hands, go to
Yes.
events, go to trade
Yes.
fair,
Yes.
get
Yes.
the guide on doing business in
Yes.
China,
Yes.
written by Addie Kasali. The link is going to
Yes.
be in the show notes. Click on that link and get the guide. Once you get it, here's what I want you to do for us. Take a screenshot of the cover when you've gotten it. Send us a DM. We'll put it in our stories. You get it?
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, more
Yes.
people
Yes.
get to
Yes.
know and see
Yes.
what it is that you are doing. Adi, have you ever had a problem because of the language barrier? I know you say you have like an interpreter. Is that an app people can
Yes.
use to learn the language?
Yes.
Or I
So
mean,
these days in 2024, I mean, everything is technology. So there are two main apps, which I'm sure people are familiar with. Well, everybody's familiar with Google Translate. So Google Translate helps a lot because you can just put in the English, Chinese will come out, or they can put in Chinese, English will come out, or they can even speak into the mic, it'll speak back. So that's one. And then in China has their like own WhatsApp. It's called WeChat, the
your WeChat,
WeChat
yes,
app.
yes.
Yeah, and in WeChat, there's an inbuilt translator. So as you're typing, it can translate what the Chinese person is saying, and then they can also translate what you're saying. I mean, of course, over the years there have been issues with languages, especially in the early days, when I
Yeah.
didn't really understand when technology wasn't so advanced. But now, not so much. Like, you guys will figure it out. And I think because of COVID, like COVID affected so many things, but in some other ways, it was a blessing in disguise. I think because of COVID and what the Chinese went through, now they're very open to business. So now, they put their kids who can speak English, handling their orders now, so they're more open now as opposed to before when they used to be, maybe a little bit proud, but now, they're very open. So there's no hindrances, to be honest. You're the hindrance. It's only if you don't want to
Fantastic.
do business. Yeah.
Fantastic. Two more
Yeah.
questions before I let you go. I want to ask you a
Yeah.
question. What do you advise somebody who's about to get shots? The person has already gotten Addie Kasali's book now. They've started
Okay.
reading it and they say, I'm going to go to China in 4 months, in 3 months.
Okay.
What do you
Okay.
advise them to do? Do you advise them to start building an audience for that product that they're going to sell now first by creating content around that? Or
Yeah.
they should go to China and come back and have all the goods in their house when they start talking about the product?
No, you always have to start before. You can't wait until a product is out. You have to build anticipation. You have to come off as the expert. The mistake that a lot of people make and the reason why their products don't push is because they wait until they have the product. You have to start building, you have to start working on it now. Anything you want to sell, even if it's water, you start talking about it now. So that's the best strategy. Hmm.
That's very, 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 very powerful. What is one thing
Yeah.
that if you had to do it all over again, you would change in your journey on this China movement?
Coach, if I could do it again, when I was in my early 20s, going clubbing, playing around, I would have
Yeah.
been in China.
Wow! Really?
Started earlier. I would have started earlier. I would have started earlier. I mean, China is the place to be. Like the business, I don't think people understand that the business opportunities there is endless. And I mean, it's a place where if you're serious, you can get massive wealth. Massive wealth. They have
Wow.
systems in place, things work, so it's just for you to find your little spot, plug yourself in, and then, start doing your business and making money. So yeah, so in
Hmm.
my journey, I would have started so early. Like my daughter, she's turning 10 next year. Like she's coming to China. We're gonna start her off early.
Oh my God, I like this one. I love this. Ah, Addie, somebody once said that the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. That the next best time is now.
Yes,
So
yes.
basically, what you're saying is that don't even think about it. It is now.
It is now. Get started now. To get started now, it will cost you $197. Even if you're not in fashion accessories business, the
Eh,
information that I give can help you with any
Any
other
other
business.
business?
Yeah, because
Yes.
as bonuses, I also give my shipper. Then I also give a product photographer. Let me tell you guys, like they've set everything up. So what I do is I order my accessories from China. Then I now ship it to my product photographer there. Of course, it's cheaper. They take the pictures, then they
Wait,
send to my
hang on a
shipper.
second. You moved the product to your product photographer.
Yes, and I'm giving
Where
the
is he
information
based?
in the guide. He's based in Guangzhou.
Guys, you gotta get this book, man.
What?
Nah,
I'm
nah,
putting you
nah, nah.
on. I'm putting you on.
You gotta get this book, man. The book will give you an unfair advantage.
Unfair advantage. All my years of experience, my mistakes, you don't have to make them. Just get the guide.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Addie, what advice would you have for somebody who is already doing business that wants to go to China now? The last element of motivation you give to them, or somebody who is at the precipice of a decision right now. They have a 9 to 5 job. They pay them well, but they want to start a side hustle. Because remember, your job is not guaranteed, guys. It's not. It's not. It's not.
Yes.
Start your own
No,
thing. Do your own
no.
thing. So what's the advice that you'll have for them? Or do you also have a story of somebody who you have worked with one-on-one before the book came out, that you have coached, that have gone to China or about to go to China, and their success story or journey so
Oh
far?
yeah. I mean, I've helped over 100 women on this journey.
Whoa!
Accessories. journey. I have a mentee that, from the contacts that I gave her, she went to China. I mean, her business, it grew times 100, so I want to address the two questions you asked because I've been on both sides. So if you have a nine
Mm.
to five, I have a 9 to 5, and that's how I got started in fabrics because I was just like, I want more. I have a fantastic job, I have a great family, but I just wanted more for myself. So I feel like if you have a 9 to 5 and you're trying to make a decision on whether you should start a side hustle, please go to China and start the side hustle. You will never regret it. So that's my advice for that person. Start it. Just do it like Nike.
Just do it.
Now, to the person that already has a business, I've been on that side too, right? Because before I started jewelry, I was already in fabrics and I had my community. So my advice to those people are leverage the community you have. Going to China
Yes.
is a game changer.
Yes.
Find something else to introduce to them. Of course you have to do your research. I mean, that's why my guide would kind of, help
Help
you
you.
decrease that. But you have to do your research, decide what you want to sell, and you already have a buying audience. So that's 50% gone. You just have to finish the other 50%.
Interesting. Interesting. Like, how many
Yeah.
hours is it from United States of America? I'm sure it depends where you're catching your flight from. How many hours from the US
Yes.
to China?
So I live in Maryland, and before COVID, there used to be direct flights, so it was 12 hours. I think they started direct flights back, but it's really, really, really expensive. So what I do now is I either connect in Qatar or Dubai. So it's like a day trip though. So it takes about 24 hours because you have to first fly to Qatar or fly to Dubai, and from either Dubai or Qatar, it's 7 hours.
Oh, I see.
So the people, but people who are watching this who are in the UK, you guys are lucky. It's only about 7, 8 hours from the United Kingdom to China.
Wow,
Yeah,
to China. That's interesting.
yeah,
What's the weather like? Do
oh,
they have
that's
all the
beautiful.
seasons? Winter, summer.
Um, you know, I usually go in like March, April, or like October, November. It's always been hot, but this summer they had an extreme summer because when I was there in August, I was hot. I mean, in July, excuse me, I was hot. So I would say they definitely have summers, maybe summer and spring. Oh, but then again, it depends on which part of China because I know like Beijing gets really cold, but the cities that I go to, like Guangzhou has, I think, perfect weather. If you're from Nigeria, you know how Nigeria has just that perfect weather, although it gets rainy at times. So that's Guangzhou. Yiwu too has nice weather. I mean, I have been told that Yiwu gets a little bit chilly, at the end of the year. But I haven't gone there at the end of the year. I always go, spring, summer. But yeah, they have good weather overall, though.
Great. Guys,
Yeah.
as you get the book, right? As you get the ebook, by clicking on the link on the show notes, get it. There's something Addie does that I really like. Anytime she's in China, she just shows the back end. When she's in the
Yeah.
factory, she just documents that. And I think that makes people want to get the product. I'm telling you, I see, show that I've been
Yes,
following you, right?
love it.
I really like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
experience. At the back end, you just be showing all the behind the scenes, as it were. Those were very,
Yeah, yeah.
can you speak to us about, did it connect with people? Yeah.
Oh my God, people love it. I mean, that's why people come and pay me for suppliers because they're just like, wow, she went to the factory. What else do I need?
I,
It's so in anything you do, it's always good to show behind the scenes. Sometimes we get caught up in this whole perfect look and we have to look a certain way on social media, but
yeah.
no, to be honest, a lot of your real buyers connect with that rawness, seeing you behind the scenes, seeing you showing those orders, seeing you in the factory, seeing you sewing that skirt, seeing you talking to a client, like they love that rawness, so it really
Mm.
connects with buyers. Yeah.
Mm. I think there's a psychological trigger for it. It's a in behavioral economics. There's a word for it. Something like the sweat bias. Meaning that when people, if you can communicate the amount of work that you put into producing a product,
Hmm.
it makes people value the product more.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
makes them
I agree.
connect with the product more. Wow, Addie, this has been a very. I mean, you've opened my eyes in China in the last close to an hour now. My goodness, this is
Yeah, you gotta go, coach. You gotta go.
this is very. I'm thinking about a coaching product that I can produce that's physical that I.
Yes. And for you, I even have, you with your whole setup, you've over the years, you really upgraded all this, your setup, your podcast, so electronics,
Yes.
microphones, things of that sort. You would
Wow,
sell.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. This is so good. This is so good. Oh, so guys, there you have it, Addie Kasali. Second time on the podcast, man. Wow.
I'm
Guys,
so grateful.
yes, thank you for coming. I really enjoyed this conversation a lot,
I did.
very intellectual. I love it. I'm learning so much from it. So guys, click on the link on the show notes, get yourself a copy of the ebook. I'm going to put it in my Instagram stories as well. We may go live tonight. I think we're going live tonight on Instagram. I'm interviewing Ninja Brown Chick by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. She's got a fair coming up in London. I think on the 16th of August. You got to check that out. And she's coming to America as well. So guys, get ready. And I know Addie's gonna be. Addie's gonna be at that one. Yes, sir. And by the time you get Addie's book, you come to the fair, you shake Addie's hand, you guys will take a selfie together, and I like the part of Addie when you said, you know what, I will coach anybody who gets this ebook one-on-one. That's priceless. That's priceless. That's priceless. I mean, if she was coaching you one-on-one, we're talking thousands of dollars, but here you get it for free because you bought the book.
Yes.
All right, so guys, thank you everybody. Thank you, Addie. I'm going to stop it now. Then we just a bit before while it is.